Buenas tardes a todas las personas que se están conectando en este momento. Esta semana seguimos conociendo universidades de los Países Bajos, de Australia, conociendo universidades. Específicamente el día de hoy nos acompaña Alexander y Ben, que son representantes de la Universidad Rmit. El día de hoy nos estarán contando información acerca de la oferta académica que tienen disponible, cómo pueden iniciar su proceso de postulación, algunas opciones de financiación y por supuesto nos estarán contando del acuerdo que se tiene actualmente con Colfuturo. Desde la historia de Colfuturo hemos seleccionado a más de 70 personas con esta universidad, entonces esperamos que la información que presenten el día de hoy sea de gran utilidad para todos ustedes. Al final vamos a tener un espacio de preguntas y respuestas, entonces si a lo largo de la charla ustedes van teniendo dudas, pueden escribirla en el recuadro que está en la parte inferior de Q&A y al final les vamos a dar respuesta. Los invito también a que nos sigan en nuestras redes sociales, en Instagram, en Facebook y en Twitter. Diariamente estamos publicando los eventos que vamos a tener. Alexander, Ben, thank you so much for being here and for joining us. You can start.
Thanks so much for having us, Alejandra, and welcome everybody. Buenas noches a todos. I hope you're all having a good evening, and a big welcome to learn a little bit more about RMIT University and RMIT training. I'm Alex Thompson, Recruitment Manager for Onshore International Latin America, and I also have my colleague with me, Ben Stubbs, who's the Associate Director of RMIT Training, who's going to talk a little bit about RMIT Training and its English for Academic Purposes program. What I will cover today is a little bit about Melbourne and what to expect in terms of the city and its cost of living, a general overview of the university, its rankings, as well as the different campuses that we have here in Melbourne, as well as what makes us a university noun for... Sorry, I've just realized that I'm on mute. So a big welcome to everybody. Buenas noches. I'm Alex Thompson, Recruitment Manager for Onshore International and Latin America. And I have my colleague, Ben Stubbs, with me from RMIT Training, who is the Associate Director of there. And today we're going to be to talk about RMIT University, a general overview of its rankings, its campuses here in Melbourne, Australia, what makes it world-renowned for giving its students the practical skills that they need to be job ready as soon as they graduate, a bit about campus life and the extracurricular activities that we have here, as well as we will talk a bit about scholarships, which we have in joint partnership with Colfuturo, and Ben will also cover RMIT Training and its English for Academic Purposes program. So to get started, just a tradition that we have here in Australia is what's known as an Acknowledgement of Company, where we acknowledge our Indigenous peoples here in Australia. So RMIT University acknowledges the Woi Wurrung and Boon Wurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin nations on whose unceded lands we conduct the business of the university. RMIT University respectfully acknowledges their ancestors and elders past and present. RMIT also acknowledges the traditional custodians and their ancestors of the lands and waters across Australia where we conduct our business. So first and foremost, why Melbourne as a city to study? Well, there's lots of different reasons, and one of the main reasons that it's a great city for students to study in. Not only is it the second most livable city in the world, where the infrastructure is fantastic and it's a very safe environment for international students, it's also ranked the third best student city in the world, as well as being the sporting capital of Australia, as well as one of the sporting capitals of the world. There's lots of different high-profile international sporting events that take place here. Notably, what we've had already this year is the Australian Open Tennis, which is one of the Grand Slam tennis matches, as well as the Formula One Grand Prix, which happened in roughly about April. If you love your food and coffee, you're going to feel very at home here in Melbourne. We're ranked number 6 best city in the world for food and dining. And over the last few years, lots of different Colombian restaurants have popped up. So if you love your arepas, you're going to love it here in Melbourne. If you also love your live music, we have more live music venues per capita than any other city in the world. We're also a designated UNESCO City of Literature as well. In terms of the cost of living, rent varies between where you're living in the metropolitan region of Melbourne. And really, in terms of this slide here, we've broken down the weekly cost of rent by the proximity of our 3 campuses here. So as you'll see, rent ranges within the city centre between $200 to $300, and near our Brunswick campus, you can pay anything from between $100 to $250. And with our Bundura campus being a little bit more out on the metropolitan fringe, you're paying between $120 to $200 Australian dollars. Electricity, gas and water, students can pay between 10 to 25, and that's in relation to shared bills. And then in terms of food, depending on how much you buy each week, you're paying between 80 to 150. Phone and internet. Australia's got one of the cheapest, some of the cheapest phone plans in the world, and students can pay between $15 to $30 in between that. Public transport each week can be up to $50. The good thing about students is they get a student concession card, so that offsets your transport costs as well. And if you're living in the city centre, trams are free. Entertainment, depending on how much you go out, you can be paying between 30 to 100 Australian dollars. So why RMIT? What makes it, such a great university to study at? Even though it's been a fully fledged university since 1992, it's actually got a long history where it was founded in 1887 as a working man's college, and then since those years has amalgamated with a number of different institutions to become RMIT University. And today it's known as a global university of design, technology and enterprise. It's ranked top 1% of universities globally, and we're ranked about 193 in the QS World rankings now, which we've had a pretty big jump since last year's rankings. And we're ranked number 18 in the world out of all universities under 50 years old. We have a very strong track record. We're getting graduates into the workforce, and for that reason, we're ranked number 1 in Australia for graduate employment. We also are ranked number 1 art and design university in Australia and 12 in the world. We are strongly connected with industry, and for that reason, we're ranked number 4 in Australia with partnerships and employers. And later on, I'll cover some of the big the industry partners that we work with, who are some of the biggest multinational corporations in the world. We are a very comprehensive university. We teach over 450 internationally recognised programs, and we also are the largest tertiary institution by student population, where we have 97,000 students from over 230 companies learning across our different campuses. We have a global alumni network. We have over 450,000 alumni living in 130 different countries. We also have a really strong emphasis on the student experience and ensuring that our students here are happy and thriving in their studies. And we're ranked number 3 in Victoria for student engagement. Bit about our city campus, which is our main campus located right in the city centre of Melbourne. We're only 1 out of 2 universities that have in Melbourne that have the location of in the city centre. And we teach the majority of RMIT's courses there. There's lots of innovative brand new facilities and study spaces, such as our Swanson Academic Building, which houses all our colleges of business programs. Also the media portal, which has state-of-the-art television and media facilities for students who study our media and communications programs, as well as our multi-million-dollar design hub, which houses our design programs. In terms of the student experience, there's lots of different chill-out zones, cafes, retail, pop-up study portals, rooftop terraces, and garden spaces. So lots of different spaces for students to hang out with each other, meet up for group work, and collaborate. Being in the city centre, the city campus is very accessible by public transport wherever you're living, wherever you decide to live in Melbourne, and is accessible by train, tram, and bus. Our Bundura campus houses our health, medical, and science and teaching programs, and it's located in a neighbourhood known as Bundura, which is situated 18 kilometres from the city centre, and it's a very open campus, which is surrounded by parkland, lakes, and wildlife. Being that open green space as well, there's lots of sporting facilities for football, soccer, athletics, and tennis. And we also have state-of-the-art facilities for nursing, biomedical sciences, laboratory medicine, medical radiations, and health science teaching clinics for our chiropractic and osteopathy students as well. It is the only campus to have on-campus accommodation, which is run by a private provider known as Unilodge as well. In terms of the accommodation for the other campuses, I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Brunswick Campus is home of our fashion and textiles, graphic and industrial design programs, and is located in the neighbourhood of Brunswick, which is situated 5 kilometres from the city centre. Also very accessible by train and bus from the city. It is a small modern campus next to the multicultural and vibrant Sydney Road, and has multi-million-dollar facilities for our fashion and design students, which includes the state-of-the-art technology which students use for all their project work, as well as creative studios and showcase spaces which students showcase their work out to the public. This slide's really just to just showcase that we have virtual campus tours in which you can access on RMIT University's YouTube page. And this will have current students leading you around the campus, as well as a little bit around Melbourne as well, just to show you, give you a feel for what it's like living here and studying at RMIT as well. So I'd strongly encourage you to have a look at them and get a feel for our campus life. Also, if you're ever in Melbourne visiting, we do have city campus tours every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. And you're able to book through a link there, and I can share the slides with Col Futuro to send to you, which you will have direct access to that link. As I mentioned earlier, we are a comprehensive university teaching over 450 international programs. We're also known as a dual sector university. So we teach everything from English for academic purposes, foundation studies, vocational education programs such as diploma, advanced diploma, associate degrees, and then from bachelor all the way up to PhD. We teach everything from architecture, art, building, business, communication, community services. So what sits under that are things such as social work, international studies and translation interpreting, design, and we cover a broad range of design areas, information technology, as well as computer science, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and data and analytics, education with a focus on primary, secondary, early childhood, and students with disabilities. Engineering, we cover a broad spectrum of engineering disciplines, fashion, and we're one of the only top 11 fashion schools in the world. We teach niche areas such as game design, and then health sciences, law, criminology, and justice, project management, and property, and science such as biotechnology, and applied chemistry in that as well. So this slide's really just to cover that programs that some of our previous Col Futuro awardees have studied at RMIT University, and they cover a different broad spectrum of disciplines. So everything from animation, games and interactivity to analytics, art and public space, engineering, manufacturing engineering, supply chain and logistics management, urban planning, environment. And then within the research space, we have students doing Masters of Engineering, Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering, and Built Environment as well. So a broad spectrum of programs that Col Futuro studies have come here to study in the past and are currently studying. So as I mentioned before, RMIT has a strong emphasis on giving our students the practical skills that they need to be job ready as soon as they enter the workforce. And through that, students do study a number of different work integrated learning opportunities through their program or alongside it. So that can range from, depending on what their program is, practical placement, clinical practices, industry projects, and internships. And they can be paid or unpaid depending on the arrangement with the industry partner. As I mentioned earlier, RMIT works with some of the biggest global corporations, and they range from the industries of automotive to aerospace, fast-moving consumable goods, telecommunications, and as well as information technology, banking, supply chain and logistics, and telecommunications as well. And sport, we also work with sporting organisations, and we're one of the only industry partners of Apple as well, including working with some of the big four consulting companies across the world too. Through these industry partners, where students can work on industry projects with real clients, and then take, as I mentioned before, you can take part in local and overseas work placements, whether they're paid or unpaid. Students also enter in project competitions, which are judged by leading industry experts. Things such as international studies, attend field trips, and then clinical practices for disciplines such as nursing and laboratory medicine. And as well as students can also gain mentoring by industry professionals during their degree, so they're coached along the way during their program. Just to give you a bit of an emphasis on how much our students undertake work integrated learning while during their studies at RMIT. In 2019, our students undertook 11,698 work integrated learning placements with 3,749 different industry partners of ours. So that indicates how much students do work integrated learning with us, and also how many industry partners that we work with as well. So lots of choice. Also for students that commence in 2023, we're offering digital micro internships through RMIT's Industry Experience Project, which is a professional skills development program. And as part of that, if students are successful gaining those digital micro internship during their studies, they'll complete a range of preparation activities in their first semester, which will ensure that they're ready to undertake their digital industry placement. Participants will then complete a 2-week industry project, working collaboratively within a team to deliver a consulting solution for an industry partner. So when students accept their offer, they'll then be able to submit an expression of interest to do one of these digital micro internships, which will commence within the first year of their studies. And a little bit more, in addition to getting our students future ready, we are offering micro credentials known as RMIT Creds, which are free, flexible and stackable skills training courses. And they really focus on the soft skills. So you're able to study things such as working collaboratively in teams, cross-cultural communication, emotional intelligence, and other soft skills as well. One of the great things about the micro creds is once you complete your program, they actually appear on your final academic transcript, which can assist you in gaining a job. For example, you may be going for a job and an employer looks at your CV, and you'll be able to see you've done all these extra skills training courses, and that may potentially get you a job over another person. We also have a career centre known as the Job Shop, which is an on-campus drop-in service centre for all things career-related. You can go in there and speak with our staff just in general about how to find a part-time job whilst you're here studying in Melbourne. They also run workshops across the year, which cover from building up your resume to developing your interview skills, as well as they also hold a number of industry career fairs across the year, which they invite our industry partners to come and speak to current students as well. We also have Career Hub, which offers over 600 casual, part-time and graduate positions advertised online, as well as volunteer positions and consultations, appointments and resources as well. So a little bit about what life is like at RMIT in terms of the extracurricular activities and a bit about important dates as well. So for postgraduate by coursework programs, generally the semesters are held in late February, and then semester 1 commences late February and finishes in late June. And then the second semester commences in mid-July and ends in mid-November. For research programs, they're based around quarters, so generally students commence quarter 1 from February to end of April, quarter 2 from 1st of May to the end of July, and then 3, 1st of August to the end of October, and then the final quarter from the 1st of November to the end of January the following year. RMIT support services and networks are here to help our students succeed at university while staying healthy and happy. And they're there to support our students every step of their RMIT journey. So we have support staff to assist students with accommodation advice and career advice, as I mentioned earlier, with the job shop. We also have a multi-faith chaplaincy which students can use whilst they're on campus. We have student counsellors, which students are able to book free of charge either online or meet face-to-face on campus. We also have support for students with disabilities and also staff to give financial advice and legal advice as well. In addition to this, we also have a medical hub at RMIT on campus, which students are able to see a doctor for a subsidised rate as well. We also have support services in terms of academic support, and we have a number of different support services and online resources as well for students to assist with their studies, such as the Study Support Hub, where students can get help with their coursework online with some of our learning advisors who can help with assignment planning and structure, referencing and writing, general study skills and discipline-specific support as well. Students can also gain online assignment and exam support by accessing referencing tools and study resources, and as well as get preparation tips and past exam papers on the RMIT website. There's also online support services, as I mentioned earlier, such as student counselling and different advice around accommodation and careers, etc. In terms of student accommodation, as I mentioned earlier, our City and Brunswick campuses do not have on-site student accommodation, but we work with a number of private providers who offer purpose-built student accommodation within close distance to the campus. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes walk, so very, very easy to get to. And these private student accommodation providers have different options within these properties depending on your budget. For example, you're able to share a room with another student. You're able to share an apartment where you have your own room and bathroom, but share the living room and kitchen facilities, and also have your own studio as well. So depending on your budget, there's lots of different options with purpose-built student accommodation. There's also the option of sharing a house with other people as well. And we have a number of different websites in Australia in which you can access that type of accommodation. We also work with a number of different student hostels as well as homestay providers in which you would stay with an Australian family and you would nominate how many meals a day they make for you. In terms of clubs and societies, RMIT has over 160 different clubs and societies for you to join, and they range from sports and recreation, arts and culture, and spiritual clubs as well. If you find a club, if you can't find a club that you like, you're able to make your own club through the student unions as well. So it's another way to get involved with the university and the student body. Every semester, we hold a number of different orientation festival days where you get to come on campus and learn more about your course and life at RMIT prior to your studies as well. And where during those days, there's lots of different competitions and prizes, as well as free food and drink, which is very popular with students. And let's be honest, who doesn't like free food and drink? RMIT at the moment, RMIT acknowledges that travel to Australia still can be quite challenging with the situation with COVID and the availability of flights and the processing of visas as well. So at the moment, we're still committed to offering online studies for students who aren't able to arrive in Melbourne on time for the upcoming semesters. And then once they're here, be able to transition to face-to-face. In terms of online learning, through our online management system known as Canvas, this allows students to attend classes easily from wherever they are, have more control over the time they spend studying, and being able to connect with other students and make friendships and form valuable networks before they even arrive here in Australia. Just a little bit about the general academic entry requirements for RMIT's programs. So for postgraduate by coursework, generally it's successful completion of the equivalent of an Australian bachelor degree. And then some programs, for example, our engineering programs may have a GPA requirement. So for example, the majority of our Masters of Engineering programs have a GPA requirement of 2.5. Many of our art, design and architecture, communication design and fashion programs, they require applicants to submit either a folio or a pre-selection kit, which entails a number of different design tasks. So that has to be submitted in addition to, say, your academic transcripts and completion certificates and English language proficiency. And an interview may also be required if your application for those type of programs progresses as well. In terms of a research program, if for students that want to go on to study say a PhD or a Master's by research, it generally entails that a student completes a master's degree that includes a research component comprised of at least 25% of a full-time academic year with an overall distinction average. If a student has never done a master's component in their master's degree, they can still be considered, but they would need a high distinction average in their grades. Also, a bachelor's degree of minimum of 4 years of full-time study with honours can be considered as well, and the degree should include a research component that constitutes at least 25% of a full-time academic year, and then achieved at least a distinction average in the final year as well. In terms of English requirements, students, we accept a number of different English language proficiency tests, the most common being IELTS, and the majority of our programs overall an overall score of 6.5 with no individual band below 6.0 is required. Some of our programs, such as nursing and education and social work, have higher academic requirements around the 7.5 mark, but the majority are overall score of 6.5. We also accept the Pearson PTE academic, as well as the TOEFL. So for the PTE, an overall score of 58, no individual band less than 50. And with the TOEFL, a 79 in total with a minimum of 13 in reading, 12 in listening, 18 in speaking, and 21 in writing. In terms of the scholarships that we have on offer for students that are successful being awarded the Col Futuro scholarship loan, we do have a joint scholarship arrangement available, which can provide funding for English language studies up to 10 weeks per student. For students who receive an offer letter to study either a Master's by Research or a PhD program, we offer a 100% discount on tuition fees for 3 eligible students for 3 years of a PhD program, up to 3.5 years, or 2 years of a Master's by Research program as well. For students who receive an offer letter to study Master's by Coursework programs, we offer a 15% discount on tuition fees for up to 8 students enrolled at any time. In terms of the Master's by Research and PhD scholarships, we generally distribute the scholarships evenly across the RMIT's 3 colleges. So one for our STEM college, which is, for example, our science, technology, engineering programs, and then College of Design and Social Context and the College of Business. Alongside that, Col Futuro provides up to a total amount of $50,000 US to cover remaining tuition fees, overseas student health cover, living and other related costs as well. Also, we have a Col Futuro RMIT English Worldwide Scholarship, and that's jointly funded by RMIT Training and Col Futuro, and that aims to provide further financial assistance to Colombian students interested in learning or improving their English prior to them commencing their studies at RMIT. And the value of that's a 46% tuition fee discount in the 2022 calendar year and 42% in 2023 calendar year for English for Academic Purposes program, as well as the application fee of $270 being waived as well. For students that who are not successful in getting the scholarship, the RMIT Joint Culfuturo Joint Scholarships. We also have an RMIT Ready bursary for students who want to do some English prior to their studies, which is a 20% tuition fee reduction to commencing and continuing students enrolled in English for academic purposes, as well as for students who study research programs. We have an RMIT International Tuition Fee Scholarship, which covers up to tuition fees for a period of up to 3.5 years for PhD students and 2 years for Masters by Research students. It also covers the cost of the overseas student health cover for the duration of a student's visa, as well as, in addition to that, it is partnered with a stipend scholarship. So students receive a stipend of 32,841 Australian dollars per annum pro rata for 3 years, for up to 3.5 years. A relocation allowance, which is up to a maximum of $1,540 with, if you decide to bring your partner or your children here to Australia, that's the amount of relocation that we would cover, as well as paid sick maternity and parental leave as well. So that's it from me for the moment. So I might just hand it over to Ben Stubbs, who's going to talk a little bit more about our RMIT English for Academic Purposes program. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Alex, and thank you, everyone. As Alex mentioned, we offer a 46% scholarship for students who apply through Culfuturo for English language. And again, just to remind you as well, if you are successful in getting a Culfuturo Master's Scholarship or Research Scholarship to study at RMIT, we offer 10 weeks of free English language on top of that. So there's lots of opportunities for you if you need English to go on to university at RMIT. It's really interesting at RMIT because I've been taking a lot of people around the campus, and one of the things that is really clear is just how vibrant and how exciting the campus is post-pandemic. So on campus at the moment, we've got thousands of students who are studying, thousands of students who are enjoying life together. We've got lots and lots of international students here on campus as well. If you can't make it, as Alex said, there's opportunities for you to study online, but we also are looking forward to you coming on campus. The English language program is no different. At the moment, we've got about 60% of our students are studying on campus and about 40% of our students are studying online. So it's a little bit of a mixture. A lot of it's controlled by students who are coming, who can't get a flight to Australia yet. So we're seeing growth in students. We've got about last time I checked, we had students from over 30 different nationalities studying English with us. As Alex has got, as you can see from this slide, we offer English from elementary to advanced plus levels. So we've got 6 levels of English. So it doesn't matter what level your English starts off. We aim for you to have enough English for you to be successful going on to university. If you're on a Culfuturo English scholarship, we want you to enjoy your English and then make choices about what you want to do in the future. One of the things that we try and do as well is make sure that we give you opportunities to actually transition successfully into a university environment. So when you're studying English, you've got the whole university campus available to you. Next slide, please, Alex. Okay. All right. So as with the university, we're in the center of the city. We're near all the shopping precincts. So RMIT is a bit like New York University. We're right in the center of life in the city. So everything is available for you. This gives you opportunities for not only being part of a really good university, but being part of a really fantastic city. It makes it easier for you if you're looking for work. There's lots of work opportunities available. If you're looking for different social activities, Melbourne is just the best. Really, it's a lovely city to live in. There's lots of entertainment. There's lots of different clubs and activities you can do. There's lots of opportunities to really enjoy studying. RMIT English is the first university English language centre in Melbourne. So we're over 50 years old. We're on tram routes, trains, buses. We're the easiest place to come to. So you could be living 20 kilometres from the city. It's very easy for you to get a direct transport into us. You could be living just 2 kilometres from the city, and it's really easy. We're also, with the campus, we're in the north side of the city, so that means we're very close to some of the most popular places for young people. So we've got Carlton, which is a very big Italian district. We've got Brunswick, which is a very young, vibrant, multicultural area. We've also got Fitzroy, which is really, Fitzroy and Collingwood, which are really cool areas for young people to go to. We have our program starting every 5 weeks, but every level is 10 weeks long. So if you're going to study a level with us, it takes 10 weeks to complete, say, from elementary to pre-intermediate, or from advanced to advanced plus. Thanks, Alex. So you can see at the end of your course, you'll get a certificate. If you meet the English requirements for university, you'll go directly into the university. You don't need to do IELTS or TOEFL. Our class sizes are about 15 students, maximum of 18. And we usually have about 30 students from over 30 different countries. Post-pandemic, we're seeing students from China, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan. We'll see more Colombian students coming at the second half of the year as part of the Culfuturo Scholarship Program. Thanks. This is our timetable. So we have 2 timetables. So we have a timetable for face-to-face and a timetable for online education. We don't mix the two. So if you're studying face-to-face, you're only with students in your class. If you're studying with online, you'll only study with students online. The face-to-face starts at 11 o'clock Australian time and finishes at 4 p.m. The online starts at 1 p.m. Australian time and finishes at 5:45 p.m., which is a little bit difficult for Colombian students who are studying there. So that's one of the things we're seeing, more and more Colombian students wishing to come and study face-to-face. Okay. So you can see here are our English language levels. So we've got elementary, pre-intermediate, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, and advanced plus. Each level is 10 weeks long, but you can enter every 5 weeks. Thank you. This is the most important chart looking at if you want to go on to university. So you can see from, if you pass what we call upper intermediate, you can go to what we call foundation studies and diploma programs. So this is, RMIT is what we call a dual sector university. So we offer university programs, but we also offer vocational education programs that could lead on to university. So these are particularly popular for students who want to do things like fashion diplomas, or they want to do engineering diplomas, or they want to do business diplomas. We've got a whole range of different types of vocational education type of programs available for students to go on to. For students who are looking at associate degrees, which are 2-year degrees, or looking at study abroad, which is a semester or 1 year, if you pass the advanced level, you can go directly into that program. For students who are looking at bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, and particularly for Culfuturo scholarship recipients looking at masters and PhDs, you'd need to pass the Advanced Plus program, which is 10 weeks. Okay, thank you. So this gives you an idea of our course dates. So we have course dates going, we have intakes every 5 weeks. So this is our 2023 and 2022 dates. Our next intake will be on the 18th of July, that's next week. And we'll start seeing more and more students coming in through each, as we get towards the end of the year, as they go towards the next year. Okay. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Ben. Just the final slide here. So I hope everybody's enjoyed the session and learned a lot more about RMIT and what we offer in terms of a university that is global, as a global university of technology and design that has a strong focus on giving its students the skills that they need to be job ready, as well as RMIT trainings, English for academic purposes program, and how that can assist students building their language skills up to transition into university studies as well. If you ever would like to speak with myself, you're able to contact me through the details here in the slide. I also offer a one-on-one consultation service, which can be done through the link here, which will take you to the booking system. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. So a big thanks once again. And we're happy to take any questions if you have them at the moment. So a big thanks again, and a big thanks to Futuro for having us this evening.
Alex, can I add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Also, Alex is going to be in the country in August, and Alex and I will be traveling to Colombia on many occasions over the next few years. Alex is the first person from RMIT to go back to Latin America, so he's looking forward to coming there in August. So that's a great opportunity if you do get the chance to have a chat with him and talk to him about your study plans.
Yes, so I'll be attending the Australian Option Fairs in Medellin and Bogota. So if you'd like to come to those fairs and have a chat with me, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have too. So happy to answer any questions now. So big thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alexander and Ben, for all the information. I have one question for you. And what is your advice to people that are in the process to apply into the university? The specific tips that you can say to these people?
Yeah, in terms of your application, to ensure that you've got all your documents ready to go, because that not having all the documents, submitting your application may delay your application down the process, may delay the application process. Also at the moment, considering the challenges with finding flights and visa processing times and things like that, is to give yourself enough time for your application. So I'd advise to start your planning a good 6 months in advance. So that would be my 2 recommendations at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the other thing is, if you do have questions and you're applying through Futuro and you want some questions to ask us directly, please let Futuro know and they can contact us and we can give you that information. So we've worked very, very, I know I've worked with Futuro for many, many, many years, and so has Alex from RMIT. It's a really amazing organization, the support that they give to students. So we have a very good communication line with Futuro. So if you do have questions, ask Futuro and we can find out for you. It might be something as simple as, can you give us a guide to how to apply and other things like that? Or it might be, do you offer any other things that we haven't talked about today? And it might be, I want to be a student ambassador. I want to do volunteer work. Where can I find information about part-time work? It might be really simple things that make your life a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah, also just to add to that, I would recommend visiting the Study Melbourne page. So Study Melbourne's an arm of the Victorian state government that provides a lot of information to international students who are interested in coming to Melbourne. So I'd recommend you to have a look at the Study Melbourne webpage, and that'll give you a lot of information as well there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When will start the classes?
When we will start the classes? That really depends on the program that you're studying. So I'll go back to, where's this slide? So I'll go back to this slide here. So this covers both postgraduate by coursework programs, so masters by coursework. So semester 1 generally happens around late February, early March, and then concludes at the end of June. Semester 2 begins mid-July and concludes mid-November. And then our research programs, they run by quarters. The first quarter generally starts start of February and ends in late April. Second quarter, 1st of May to end of July. Third quarter, start of August to end of October. And then the fourth quarter at the start of November to the end of January the following year. Saying that though, we have monthly intakes for our Masters by Research and PhD programs. So generally students can start any month of the year, apart from January and February, because that's really when the time our academics start taking their holidays. So really those students looking for those type of programs, they can start any month of the year, bar December and January.
Alex, can you move to the English dates as well? I'll just
Yes.
explain something.
Let me go back. Where are we?
Nearly. One more, I think. Keep
One
going.
more? There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
So you can see these are also the start dates for the English language program. We have organized the English language program so that if you're going on to a master's or PhD program, your English language program will finish just before you start your master's or your PhD. So we'll organize your pathway for you to make sure you're successful.
Okay. It is possible to study English without any level? I mean, from beginner, just for 6 months?
Yes, definitely. We've got students who have no English and we've got students with a lot of English, and that's all fantastic.
Yes. Okay, we don't have more questions. We have only these 2 questions. So thank you so much, Alexander and Ben, for all the information and for your time, for joining us. And we have another question. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
In order to apply for the Australian visa, it is necessary to submit the payment in advance?
Yeah, so generally what happens is if you're successful in getting an offer letter to study at RMIT University, you'll have to pay a deposit to process the acceptance, and then receive a document known as the electronic confirmation of enrolment, which is a really important document that is needed for the visa application. So you would need to pay a deposit. For Colombian students at the moment, that's 9,000 Australian dollars. And then also your overseas student health cover if you choose to arrange that through the university as well. So yes, you would need to make some form of payment prior to applying for the visa.
And for the English, if you're applying through Colfuturo, you'd arrange that through Colfuturo for the special scholarship rate and for the duration of your course. So we limit the scholarship for 20 weeks of English for Colfuturo for the English language scholarship.
Mm-hmm. If the visa is denied, do we get a share back?
Yes, so if your visa is denied, we do provide refunds back.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
That's in the refund and transfer policies of the university as well. So it's something that we'd give to all students if they can't get their visa.
Yeah, so we do have a refunds policy page, and you can view that on the RMIT website, and that'll indicate the scenarios where you're guaranteed a full refund or a partial refund. It outlines all the different scenarios.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we don't have more questions. Thank you so much, Alexander and Ben.
Thanks, Alejandra.
Thank you, Alejandra, and thank you to all the students as well who came today.
Yeah, thank you so much for attending, and hopefully we'll meet you in person in Bogota, Alejandra.
Yes, of course.
I will probably see you either later this year or early next year. So take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.